The meanings that they have and the definitions are the same, but just they are tackled differently. But the meaning is the same. So don't get confused.
It is a little bit confusing because we have a
Give me
lot
example.
of new
Give me
terminology
example.
like a proposition. What is the difference between proposition and lexeme?
No, proposition is something else. What's the relationship between proposition and lexeme?
What is the difference between them actually?
No, listen. Whenever we talk about proposition, we talk here about the general meaning. The lexeme is related to, let's say, sometimes single lexical units, while the proposition does not, let's say, include here lexemes only, one lexeme. It may include different lexemes because it's related to the sentence. Okay, in one sentence we can have 3 lexemes, we can have 4 lexemes, but in let's say in proposition, okay, in one sentence we have one proposition, the general meaning.
Okay, so lexeme is more of a one-word meaning, and the meaning
Most
of
of the
one word.
time, sometimes one, sometimes two lexical items, but mostly it conveys, let's say, a meaning. Is this clear? So when we say, for example, okay, let's say I eat pizza every day. So here we have a preposition. What is the preposition here?
I eat pizza every day.
This is the general meaning, but how many lexical items do we have? We have eat. So general,
Yes.
I'm not talking, of course, here about the subject pronoun. I'm talking about I, okay? I'm talking about eating, verb to eat, and I'm talking here also about the object, which is pizza in this case. So we can say that we have got 2 lexemes here, for example. Is this clear?
Yes.
But one proposition.
Okay.
Okay. Yes. The others.
Professor,
Yes.
Professor, I have two.
Right.
In fact, I have two questions. One of them is regarding the previous lecture, and this one, and the other
No,
one is
I'm not going to deal with the previous 1 minute. I'm not going to deal with the previous lecture because I have already dealt with it, of course, in the interview session. I'm going now to deal with lecture number 3. If you didn't attend lecture number 2, problem. I'm talking now about lecture number 3. I was clear. Of course, a lot of you classmates under the English session, and we everything. I'm
we
clear.
have attended the lecture, Professor.
So this means that it's your problem. You should have asked me that question, of course, in the classroom, in the answer.
I guess it was the last point you have discussed with us, and
What is it?
The relation between lexemes, the syntagmatic relation, and the paradigmatic relation.
Yes.
I'm still somehow confused between.
Syntagmatic is related to syntax, is related to the syntactic structure. Okay.
Yes, Professor, I understand this one.
That's it. The second one related to your lexicon, the choices that we have. Sometimes you have got 4 or 5 choices, lexical items in your mind. Let's have an adjective, for example. You want to describe someone. Let's say that you want to describe your mother. She is sweet. She is hardworking. She is, let's say, tolerant, etc. How many choices, for example, do we have here? You have 3. You see what I mean? So here, it's up to you to determine whether she is hardworking or whether she is sweet or whether she is beautiful. So here it's up to us as human beings. So here the semantic meaning is related to this meaning in this case. Do you see what I mean here?
So it has to do with the elements belonging to the same class.
That's it. It's related to the semantic meaning that you want to convey, that you want to express. The first one is related to syntactic structure, to syntactic meaning. The second one, the meaning itself.
Yeah, I got you now. Yes, Professor. Concerning this lecture, I'm somehow confused how to differentiate between actor and agent.
Now, listen. In fact, you have to take account that when it comes to the rules that I provided you with, they are supposed to be by heart. You see what I mean here? It's like math. A plus B equals this, etc. The same thing here. Now, we're talking, for example, about an agent. So an agent is an actor in himself. Okay, let's go to the slide.
All right. Because both of them, they are followed by an
I
action.
know. I know. Just
imbalance you want.
Yes. This slide.
Um,
Okay. Now,
yes.
listen, let's go back to the examples to explain. So 16, 18. So 16, the dog is sleeping. Larry laughs. Okay. Earth rotates. What did we say here? So the predicates, we have sleep, we have laugh, we have rotate. They express what? They express an action. Okay. What is the action? Laugh and rotate. Is this
Yes.
clear?
Yes, sir.
So here, each of these arguments names an actor. What's the actor here? The actor is the dog, Larry, the earth. Okay? Here, so why? Because we have action. Let's go back now to agents, or let's move to agents. That's why I wanted you, of course, here to specify. Here it is. Now, everyone, the cat killed a attention here. The cat killed a rat. How many do we have here?
We have two.
Cat and we have
The
a
cat and a rat. Yes.
Okay, good. So cat, rat. Now, the first argument denotes an agent, and the second argument names the entity affected. Now, so here we have, I broke the window. Birth hits her. Cat killed a rat. So the first one is relationship. Okay, so we have agent, we have action, and we have affected. The agent, why do we call him agent here? Okay, go ahead. Why?
Because it's affecting an entity, which means the action here, which is a verb, its case, it is a syntax nominate, we should call it verb here. So it's a transitive verb. So there will be something, another entity after the predicate, which isn't affected. But in the previous case, when we say the dog is sleeping, here we have only the actor and the action, nothing else after the action.
So we're talking about intransitive, okay? Intransitive verbs, or what we call one arguments, okay? Predicates. Also, we call them one argument predicates. So this is the case. The dog is sleeping. We have her to sleep. What is the object here? Do we have it? The second one, Larry laughs. What's the object?
There's no,
because here we have sleep, we have rotates. So all of them are transitive verbs or one arguments predicates. Okay. Now, and here in this case, of course, an actor. We have an actor and we have an action. But we have, let's say here, two nouns, okay, two NPs. In the word, we have a predicate. Automatically, we use, in fact, instead of agents, instead of actor, we use agents in this case. And that's what we have here. Let's go back to the examples. Look, the cat killed a rat. I broke. Okay, you stop. I broke. In this case, is it correct? It's not correct.
Because it's a transitive verb.
That's it. The what here is missing. What did you break? Bird hit. Cat, that, what, etc. So in this case, here we have an agent, and in the first case, we have an actor. Okay. You're welcome. The others? It's easy, guys. All you have to do is just to take into account, as I said, of course, here the slides one by one and concentrate. I try to provide you with examples in order not to encounter any difficulties. Yes. Yes, guys. The others? Yeah.
Another question. and last formula of the affected and affect and the affected.
Please
So
go to the
here,
slide.
I guess it's going to be in valency 2. Valency 5.
So we are in valency 2. Yes.
So
Yes.
here, sir, we have talked about something which is the linking predicate.
So okay, 1 minute.
Sir, if you go to the part of with adjectives or part in which we link
Here it is. Link. So link. Have a link with associates. So the link is related, in fact, to the associates. So look at these examples. Shayla, okay, Shayla is like her mother. What's the verb here, in your opinion? What's the verb? Move to the second one. Second example. This present is. Is. The book is. You can see this relationship, okay? In this relationship, the predicate is verb to be. Whenever we have verb to be case, automatically, okay, we should go back again to the theme, because as you know, so here the theme is related, in fact, to verb to be. Here is the theme, present is the theme, Tom is the theme, and book is the theme. The link is like, for, with, about. We don't care here whether we have a preposition or we have something else. We have is like. Okay? And here we have the associates. What's the associates? Her mother. The second one. Look, is like mother. The present is for you. So in this case, so is for you. We have prepositions here. Can't you see? Tom is with Anne.
Yes,
so the
sir.
associate here we have Anne. What? Fossils. So in this here, there is the rule to learn it. So whenever we have here, look, whenever we have verb to be, and we want, for example, here to make a comparison, for example, between two things or to refer to something else, in this case, and of course, whenever we have also, let's say, prepositions, which are considered also as sometimes as adverbials. So here we use the predicate. So the predicate is a link. And the arguments, the second argument in this case is the associates, while the first one is the theme. Okay? We cannot consider when we say, for example, I hit my cat. So I here isn't a theme. Okay?
Yes, sir. Here it's going to be an agent.
That's it. Very nice. I hear agent. And
It's going to be affected.
Affected. Okay?
Yes. But here, sir, in
Yes.
this one, having this decision surprised us all.
Okay. Is it?
Yes,
Yes, this one.
Here. So we have like different, but they are in the state over there.
Yes. Surprise someone. What do you do here?
You are describing the state of an age or state of something.
Okay, listen. Look at the rule here. We have affecting. The decision is what? It's affecting.
Yes, sir.
The affects. So the affect is the predicate in this case. Surprise. Us. So affected here. Now, it's clear here that the decision affects us. We have the decision as an okay. You disturb us. You disturb us. You disturb everybody. You disturb your mother. So here again, look, we have verb to disturb. It has an, what did we say concerning affects? It's here the predicate express an affect. Before I provided another here with not here. So as I said, the predicate expresses an affect. The first argument names the entity. So entity that affects. Okay. affects, that has the affecting role. Here we have division, we have to, and we have median. Affecting whom?
Affecting the which are
Us.
respectively as
That is us, or everybody, or audience. So that's why here, when the affect is present, whenever the affect is present, this means that we must have an affecting agent between brackets. So the affecting here is the decision. You, comedian, can be anyone. Give me other examples. Yes.
Picture of the affect. Surprise, serve, impress. They are all verbs that indicate the state of affairs.
Yeah.
So stated verbs here are not included, right? We cannot
Not included here. No, they're not included at all.
right, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
Yes.
sir. I understand. Well, like in I guess in the task you have already given us, there's a sentence which is Ginny admired the painting. So here it's gonna be as follows: affect and effect.
That is very nice, because it's like when we say to admire. Here, affects. When we say, for example, another example, the news shocked everyone. You see, we have here verb to shock.
Yes, I understand now. Yeah.
Good.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Yeah. Guys, I'm here for you. Go ahead. Yes.
Sir, I guess I'm gonna disturb you with more questions.
Go ahead. I'm here to answer all your questions.
Thank you so much, sir. I have found, yeah, I mean, concerning semantic rules, syntactic we say rules.
Okay, because there's a huge difference between the two. I didn't, of course, want to bombard you with rules. I'm sure that you will encounter a lot of difficulties with rules. That's why I didn't include them. Anyway.
All right, sir. So as found direct object, which is a syntactic event, and we call it either the theme or the patient, or either the affected.
This is another, okay, of course, generally speaking, we're talking just about because Asala that in fact there are syntactic American syntactic rules, British syntactic rules, and rules. Every scholar, let's say, provides his own understanding. Every scholar provides his lexical item or jargon, and he wants, of course, to mark his presence in the field and so on and so forth. So that's why we are talking about the same thing, in fact, here. You see what I mean? So just don't confuse yourself with these lexical items. Okay?
Yeah.
Yes, go.
So my question here, sir, is concerning the theme. For example, in Valency 1, we have an example, which is this group is called.
Go to it. Classmate to X.
In the part of Valency 1.
Where is it? 1 minute. Yes. So here, the soup is cold. Yes. What's your question?
So why here we call it the theme? This soup, why here we call it the theme? Why it could be, for example, it could be here, it could be actor. So why here we
because here it's related to verb to be in general. Okay, so the theme is related to verb to be, the presence of verb to be. Is this clear?
Because, for example, there's an example of.
Yes.
So here we have linking verb, which is the verb to be. It's an auxiliary here, and also we have this soup is cold. So also here we have a linking verb, which is the verb to be.
Yes, the question.
So the first case we call it of the actor, and the second case the soup
The first one is sleeping. What is sleeping? Is a verb.
an action here.
Is a verb. You see what I
Yes.
mean? Called is an
Adjective. So
So it's
whenever
clear
there's an
now.
adjective after the link verb, we call it
That's it. That's why that you have just to learn by the rule. I provide examples to make it very easy. Okay.
Yes,
So
sir,
here the
thank
soup is cold. Cold here is a compliment. Okay. This
you.
in this case, sleeping in fact is an action. The same thing. Terry is impatient. Henrietta was rather reckless. The focus here is okay. The bottle is empty, and so on and so forth. So here we are talking about adjectives. So that's why, in this case, the soup, in fact, is being. It's not an actor. Okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, guys? You guys, I'm all ears. So as I said, it's an 89 slide lecture, and it's impossible, of course, to tackle all the components here. And remember, I know that I bombarded you, of course, with a lot of, let's say, lexical items, okay, terminology, but we must, okay? You cannot teach, inshallah, next year without knowing, of course, how to do it. And by the way, it will help you to understand the lexical approach in teaching. It's also related, in fact, to teaching vocabulary, etc., with your students, inshallah. So that's why I really want you to understand the contents and not just understand it, but to eat it. And remember, we're talking here about, let's say, about different rules, and these rules are supposed to be learned by heart. Okay, so here is the first case, the second case, the third case, etc., etc. Okay. By the way, in the final exam, I will ask you about terminology. You will define. So we'll have different parts in the exam, different sections. The first section will be devoted, of course, here to terminology definitions to see whether, of course, you have understood the content or encountered difficulties. So this is high time to ask your questions. And then the second, of course, parts will be, or second section will be practical. Yes, go ahead. Okay, is the content clear now? By the way, guys, I cannot read your comments because I don't see. Okay, I don't see what you write. I can only hear what you. Go ahead. No questions, guys? Is now Asala? Yes. Do you hear me, guys? Do you hear?
Yes, sir. Sir, I have a question.
Yes. Go ahead.
The predicate, is it always a verb in syntactic analysis?
Most of the time, yes. As I said, we
Okay.
have different, but mostly it's in fact it's a verb here.
Okay. I just
Yes.
wanted to make sure.
In some pay attention, as I said, according, in fact, they divide the sentence, the sentence syntactically into two parts: the subject and the predicate. And the predicate, according to these scholars, include the verb, the object, etc., which means that the predicate and the argument as well. Do you see what I mean here? But I'm talking here about our case. In our case, it is in fact a verb. Most of the time, it is a verb. Okay?
Okay. Thank you,
Yeah,
sir.
welcome. Yes, the others. Because in the sentence, it's impossible not to have a verb. I'm talking about English. So the rule is SV, okay? When the case intransitive, or SVO when it is transitive, when V is transitive, okay?
Professor,
Yes.
but
Yeah.
for sentences when we have linking verbs like to be, adjectives, the subject complement is predicate or the
Of
verb
course, because
or
here we have the verb with the predicate here. It's considered as a predicate here. The entire part.
of them.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Yes.
And sir, what
Yes.
about the transitive verbs? You know, the direct and indirect of what?
No, of course, with I will move to the examples that we have here. I see that you are still
Okay.
confused here. Okay.
Okay.
Start with Valency one examples. So we have the dog is sleeping. How many verbs do we have here?
Just one.
Okay. And the verb here is what? Is it transitive or intransitive?
Intransitive.
Okay. So as far as it's intransitive, so this is true. Okay. Look,
Yeah.
arguments, we have affected, and we have, let's say, the predicates, which is an event here. And we have another case, of course, whereby, so as I said, it can be an event or it can be something else. Okay. Sometimes it's an action in itself. When we say, for example, James laughed. James or Larry
Yes.
laughed. So it's an action in itself. Okay.
Yeah.
Here I'm talking about one predicate. I have got only here one predicate. So which is sleeping. It's considered as a verb in itself, and it is an aspect. So here in syntax we call it aspects. It's just inflection. We have aspect here. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to the second one, my grandfather died. A volcano erupted. The cake fell. Again, I have got here intransitive verbs, but died, erupted, and fell describe an event. The eruption, and of course the fall of something. So that's why here we are talking about one predicate. Okay. Now, let's move to valency. Okay, row.
Yeah.
Okay. The cat killed a rat. True. So here, what's the predicate? Is an action in this case. Okay, which is to kill. The second argument, we have to take it into account. We have different, I said rules here, not role. One of them stipulates that the sentence is divided in, we have the subjects and we have predicates. And the predicates is, of course, the verb plus the other arguments as well. Okay? So in our case here, we have the arguments, which is an agents. We have the predicates. This is argument one. Predicate, which is a verb. And then the second argument with objects.
Yeah.
Okay? Here we specified. Even according to the, pay attention, according to the rule that I have just mentioned, here we start with the first step is to divide it into two parts, S, okay, subjects and the predicates, and then we divide the predicates into, again, noun phrase, verb phrase, adverbial, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Clear now?
Okay, thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Yes. Next.
For the transitive verbs, we have the verb, the direct object, and indirect object. So there are three arguments.
Of course, here we can have three arguments because we have argument one and argument two. Okay.
We're gonna call them
My
both
father,
affected.
my father, listen, my father bought, it's a, my sister a gift. The direct object here.
Direct is the gift.
Direct is the gift. The indirect is what?
Yeah. Is my sister.
Is my sister. How many arguments do we have here?
Three.
First is what?
Is the subject, is my
Father. What's the predicate here?
is the verb by.
What do we have? Do we have affect, affecting, or what? So my father, what? Is it affecting or affected or affect or what?
Is affecting, I guess.
Affecting.
Or agent.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. But verb by is
The
the
action.
that is the act.
The
Now, then we have my,
argument. Yeah.
okay, so my sister
Is-
affected, gave,
I don't know.
because it's here, it's the direct object in fact here.
Yeah.
So the gift was bought. Let's say it differently. A gift was bought, okay? A gift was bought to my sister by my father.
Sister.
Okay, so here, gift was bought. We have different thoughts here. We can just focus. So what is it here?
Yeah.
A gift was bought.
The gift was bought.
Gift.
I don't know.
That's it, because here it's an object, the same thing. So here it's also, we have another case of affected. Okay.
It's also affected.
Because
it's an object.
Because it's an object in this case. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Next.
Yeah.
Because here it's affected by the action of whom? Of my father. Okay?
Yeah.
Yes. Next, guys. Yes. Hurry up. Well, I think that now it is clear. No more questions. So if it is clear, so let's call it a day. That's it. No more questions, guys. House, did you want to ask something?
Professor,
Yes, yes.
Aus is now in group 3 after the update that they did.
Okay, I didn't know. I mentioned something like, but I didn't pay attention to it. I didn't know, of course, whether the others are still with us or they left or anyway. In fact, they should have changed, let's say, anyway, forget about this. I don't want to indulge into an administrative issue. Yes, of course. So myself, of course, teach groups 1, 2, 3, 4. So remember, guys, I want you to learn by heart these rules. In fact, they are really, you should differentiate between the adjective, between the adverb, between, of course, let's say here the agents, okay, the actor, affects, okay, affecting, etc. I provided you with a lot of examples to help you with, let's say, your instructions, with the explanation to facilitate things. Thank you for your interesting. I like what you've done, Asal and the others. This is really important. This reveals that you really, okay, care about semantics and pragmatics. You pay attention while reading. That you're an absent-minded reader, because we have a lot of absent-minded readers. They read without paying attention to details. So this is very nice. Now, what is important for me is that, in fact, I have already deleted this slide lecture and divided it into 2 parts. You will find, of course, the first part with the second part, okay? The same content, no change, I just divided them into 2 parts, okay? Inshallah, next week or maybe this week, I will provide you with lecture number 5 again. You will not, I am sure now, encountering difficulties. As far as lecture 3 is clear, be sure that you will not encounter any difficulties, okay? Next week, I will try, of course, to explain the content, because here, as I said, I divided it into 2 parts again. I will take care of the first one. I will deal with all the slides without exception, okay? And then we will discuss the content together. The task is also very important. Pay attention to it. Be in the exam, I will, let's say, pick up the tasks and it will be given to you in the exam. Also, you have got 2 days to email the task to me. I will not accept any late, let's say here, any late tasks. Am I clear? So all students, of course, who are interested in doing the task in work, let's say on, and they are interested in, let's say, emailing it to me, I'm expecting it either tomorrow or in 2 days. Am I clear?
Yes,
Is it clear,
Professor.
guys?
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Professor, what about the correction of the task?
No, we'll
You gonna
not do it
provide
together,
that?
as I said. No, you, of course, here, because as I said, I will pick up one of them. Everything is clear. If you understand, let's say, the contents, be sure that the task will be very clear with you.
Okay. You're not
Okay.
going to provide us with
No.
the correction.
No, of course.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Come on, now. Sophia,
Okay.
come on.
I know. Okay. Thank you. Thank you,
Yes.
Professor.
Because if I'm to correct it with you, this means that I'm not, of course, going to exam. So what I'm here.
Yeah, I see.
Anyway, yes.
Okay.
So as I said, I am sure that you will get one of the tasks. So sure that you will get one of the tasks in the exam, inshallah. So just work on that.
Okay.
Yes, the others. Samia, what do you want to say?
Yes, sir. I just want to ask you, are we supposed to send our on the official
No, not the official. The official one is devoted just to problems. Created, of course, that email address to facilitate things to my student, an old one, so I still use it. Keyboard it again.
Okay, thank you.
Professor, I have a question.
Yes, please.
I mean, considering the passive voice and the active voice, for example, the example that you said before, I bought a cake for, I bought another cake, and the cake will brought me.
Okay, let's say, for example, let's move to something else. Let's say James watches TV. Okay,
Yes, sir.
James TV. Let's have here TV is watched by James.
All right.
Okay, let's work on this example. What about it now? This
So,
one.
the active voice, James, the TV. So here we have the actor and the action and the affected.
Yes.
So when we pass to the passive voice, those terms, those arguments, do they still have the same semantic rule?
Have the same semantic meaning, which is because here we have just the focus. The meaning is still is the same. So here, when we have James watches or watch, okay, James watches TV, okay, is watched. So here, TV, what is it here?
TV here is affected.
Okay, watch
Is the
is
predicate.
watched. Is watched. It's not just is or what I don't know. Is watched is predicate.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, by James here, what is it?
James here should be the actor.
Normally, in the passive voice, we say that it's an agent normally.
Yes, sir.
But here, in fact, is an actor.
So even though
we change just the focus.
oh, yes.
Here.
Sir,
Change
sir,
the focus. Yes.
Sir, another example, like if we
Yes.
say, I mean, this has to do with the task, but I'm going to say it implicitly. So
Okay.
if we don't have an agent, if we don't have an agent or an actor, and we have just like an incomplete sentence, for example, as the one in the task, we have fun.
We cannot. You know why? Because English has, okay, the sentence in English has its own rules. What you're talking to me here is, you are mentioning here an informal piece. We say, watch TV, yeah. Formal answer in it. We should have a, if we want to, of course, talk about it. Did you watch TV? Yes, I watched TV. So here, in this case, I can analyze, but how come that, of course, here, I'm going to analyze, okay? To syntactically or semantically analyze a sentence which is incomplete. It's baseless because
So we
here I
cannot
don't have a
mention-
subject. The rule is clear in English. What's the
So we
rule of
can-
the sentence?
I mean, we cannot mention that there is an implicit.
No, no. We
okay.
cannot. Because it's impossible to calculate it. We don't have an S here. We don't have an S here. This is what I mean. Without the S, okay? It's impossible here to talk about, let's say, a complete analysis or let's say a formal syntactic or semantic analysis. It's impossible.
Yes, sir. I got you.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Yes. You're welcome. When we say, for example, oh, got you. Normally, we should say, oh, I do. So it's okay. We can analyze it. When we say, got
This
you.
is subject.
See? Yes.
Professor, and
Yes.
for, there are some clauses which are mini clauses. There is just the predicate, like go out. There is
No,
no
it's-
subject.
No, but here it's something, okay? We are talking here about the imperative. Implicitly, there is a subject here.
Yeah.
You go out. You go out. Don't just
Yeah.
go out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
here you have to specify. We don't say just go out. No.
Yeah.
Ismail, go out. Or let's say, James, go out.
Yeah.
So
So
if we find the sentence like this one, which is ill-formed or
No, you will not find it.
non-list,
You will not find it. You will not find it. Be sure. I'm talking about things that have already been tackled by scholars. They tackled just the formal cases. Okay.
all right, sir.
Yes. Is it clear, guys?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you. So let's call it a day, and Ramadan again. So see you inshallah
Ramadan
next
Kareem.
week.
Ramadan
As I said,
Kareem.
I'm obliged, of course, to work on our online here meeting. We will not see each other maybe for 4 weeks, and it's impossible not to see for 4 weeks. It's the system. They said that you are supposed just to, let's say, tackle and deal with the in-class sessions, but I can't do it. Clear instructions that, in fact, I'm talking about this semester, that normal